I think it's safe to say that Pixar has struggled this decade so far, what with films being released on streaming and then their original films people not really going to see. But Hopper's bucks the trend. People are seeing this film and people are liking this film. We don't know if the audience numbers will translate to what we're seeing in the ticket sales and in the word of mouth, but it seems like this is going to be Pixar's first original hit in a while. People show up for Inside Out and Toy Story 5, but will they show up for the original stuff? For the first time in ages, maybe, and that's really good. Even irrespective of what we think about this film, that's really good news.
Yes, we got so many remakes, reboots, and sequels. Hoppers is a fun original movie that explores nature, family, and the idea of how to save this piece of land, the Glade, and also the fantastical world of animals that have a hierarchy. You got the birds, the mammals, insects, and I love how they just went for that. And then there's some unexpected stuff that happens in the movie. It's a nice time. It's a nice time.
This is the Out of Time Film Podcast, where your hosts Tom and John discuss everything from blockbuster films to TV and games like there's no tomorrow.
Pixar making original movies because
Sure.
like yeah back-to-back movies back in the day, but now it's sequels getting so popular and like, oh my god, Toy Story 5, which you are excited for, Tom. So I haven't seen Toy Story
I'm
4.
so excited for Toy Story 5, dude. Oh my God.
Yes.
The trailer played in front of Hoppers, and I almost cried just watching it. I think that we're in for a treat. But the thing of Pixar and many studios like it is that they make the sequels because they know they will make money, and they use that money to make their original films. That's all well and good. But if people don't see their original films, so many times, they're going to stop. So Hoppers is very important because
Mm.
this, I hope, will prove to Pixar that, yeah, there is an audience for this. It's actually kind of a weird double-edged sword for me personally because I've been saying for years we need more people to watch these movies, and this is actually my least favorite Pixar in a while. In no
Mm.
way did I think it was bad, but I just preferred Elio and Elemental and God, what was before that? I don't even know. Not Lightyear, that's for sure.
Turning Red, you
But
think?
yeah, I think I did prefer Turning Red, Luca, Soul. Those are all things that I did prefer to Hoppers. And Hoppers I still liked quite a bit. But it's a funny thing that the one that people are seeing isn't the one that I necessarily would recommend. I don't think I would go to people and say, oh yeah, you gotta watch Hoppers, like I would have said for Elemental. Elemental for me is the best since Soul, easily. But either
Yes.
way, we definitely have a really fun film here. The idea of putting a human brain inside a robot that looks like an animal. What this film does with the animal kingdom and the way that humans see them and the way that other animals see them, there's this brilliant idea that from the human perspective, we can't understand animals. But not just that, they decide to animate the animals with black button eyes. There is no emotion to them. We can't comprehend their feeling. They're essentially all Funko Pops, just black eyes, no pupils, no movement. But then when you're from the animal perspective, they all have more expressive eyes with the whites and with full-on irises that, along with their speech, gives them another level of autonomy and emotion. I thought that was insanely clever. What a brilliant technique.
Yeah, to translate that and to see animals that have character and a bit of fluidity to them. With the earpiece as well, able to translate the words. It's a really good storytelling device to get the characters to connect with each other, to subvert your expectations, with the animals. It's like, oh, we got the king is coming. And then the humans like, there's no king in the animal kingdom. And then it's the beaver king, which is just so ridiculous, but it's just so funny. But yeah, the film looks gorgeous as well. I think there's some really nice animation there. Like in the opening where Mabel gets in tune with nature and spend time with the grandma. I thought that was a nice emotional piece to give us a bit of idea who the character is and what their wants and needs. But I think what struggles with this film is that it doesn't go too far with the environmental ideas that it's trying to get across. In the past, we have Pixar movies that are hard hitting, super emotional, that makes you cry like a baby. This one, I was like, great, we got a bit of a message there, but it didn't go way beyond that to like what we should do for the environment. What's our action?
Yeah, it felt almost like a film that didn't want to make any bold statements. It kind of felt like no one's to blame. It's fine. We can work together. And it's like, well, no, I feel like there's some really damaging stuff that we should be looking at. some of the best Pixar films are very anti-capitalist in their messaging and present that in a hard-hitting way. I don't think this film does that. I think that it was a shame that it won't quite extend that arm to truly say, this is a problem and there's things happening. And I think that that's not Pixar's fault. This is coming from above. It's the mouse. It's Disney. And I think that this is an ongoing
Mouse.
problem.
The mouse, well, he's evil right now.
The rat.
The evil mouse.
Mickey the rat. Yeah. We've seen this already. Queer storylines being cut, trans storylines being cut. And then months ago, we have known there have been reports about this film having greater environmental themes, but Pixar were asked to downplay them. And I just think that it's cowardice. This is a studio that's confronted both kids and adults with some really difficult themes. Death, aging, morality. Hell, WALL-E is all about capitalism and consumerism and altered history. And the very thing they're toning down here, which is environmentalism. Did WALL-E win the Oscar? I don't even know. But like, WALL-E is remembered as one of their greatest, if not their greatest film. And here they're scared to do that. That would push this film to the extra mile. And you just think, when did Disney, I mean, I know when this happened. I don't really want to get into that. But when did Disney get so scared of allowing Pixar to do what they're best at? Clearly, there is some foul play going on here.
Yes. It's quite a shame because with Pixar, they are so passionate in terms of what they're trying to say in their stories. But yeah, other than that, there was a lot of comedy that I wasn't expecting for the movie. With Mabel, she's so passionate to save the Glade and she needs to get a petition going on. So she just tries so many times to get people on board, like, hey, sign my petition, which I think is a good reality check. To, like, not many people care about the environment. And then when she gets to a certain person, this old frail man who's like, sure, I'll sign this. And then she spends the day helping her. And then literally at the last second, when he signed the petition, it's just a shopping list and it's just nobody cares. So there was a lovely bit of comedy going on in this movie.
Yeah, the film sometimes is comedy and sometimes is so weirdly dark and twisted in ways that I haven't seen since Toy Story 1, maybe, with all the broken toys.
Oh,
and like that
yes.
stuff's pretty hardcore.
That is pretty
and
dark,
I think,
yeah,
I think this film was really good when it got into those moments. There are a couple of moments that shock you because of just how horrific they are, and you're like, oh, okay, there are kids in this cinema right now. And so yeah, like that's definitely a strength that this film has. Hopping back onto what you're saying about the animation, I like
hopping.
Oh, I didn't even realize I was doing that. That's right. I'm just that good at improv. I really liked how the suburban elements of the film are much less interesting to look at than the nature. Very clearly, there's this idea of cookie cutter housing and boring suburbia that you just look at and you go, this is nothing. Why the hell are we prioritizing this over the beautiful nature? And I really like that. I really enjoyed the idea of, even in the way that the film looks, it's telling you that nature is beautiful and what we build is a bit boring. And the massive bridges, those kinds of structures that look dreadful. And I thought that was really cool. It did pain me again. So we've talked a lot about Pixar's animation style and whether Pixar needs to change its animation style.
Yes.
We still haven't seen any evidence that they are going to. Potentially the upcoming Gato next year could be 2D animated. That would be amazing. But it happened again in this film where the credits rolled and we see a 2D version of this film, a more stylized paintbrush strokes. I look at it and I'm just like, oh, forgot again. Why doesn't the film look like that? Generally, the animation, I didn't mind it. It definitely wasn't a massive thing. But then you watch those end credits and you go, yeah, no, this film would have just been a little bit better if the animation was doing more interesting things. I've watched Goat and The Day the Earth Blew Up and Little Amelie recently, all animated films which are so expressive and so interesting, and they all pretty much are better because of how great their animation is. And then you watch this film and it's the same animation that we've been seeing from Pixar since the beginning. And I'm begging them to mix it up. Come on, like, please. Yeah. If it's part of a franchise, fine. I don't expect Toy Story 5 to look crazy and different. You don't need to do that. But these are all new projects. I don't know what this is. Is it cost-cutting measures? Maybe. Come on, guys.
Yeah, there has to be some stylistic choices that they need to reconsider. It is getting so boring.
It's just after so many times. Most people won't care about this, but I just feel like with the steps that mainstream animation is taking, I think it's just so strange that really Pixar and Disney Animation are both studios that just don't really seem to want to mix it up. But hey ho, that's what the rat wants, and that's what the rat wants. I enjoyed the villain of this film, and I think that maybe we can't really talk about the villain without without getting into spoilers.
Yes.
So I think this film is a fun time. I don't know if I'd necessarily... If you want to support Pixar, it's worth watching for that. But I think if you have been supporting Pixar and you've seen their other films, I don't necessarily think it's better than anything else that they've done this decade, apart from Lightyear. Take it as you will, but in terms of the villain, that might be my favorite part of the film. Just what they do with that whole, you're introduced to the insect queen, and that's who you think the villain's gonna be, and it's a very terrifying voice, a terrifying presence. She's in the trailer, and the biggest surprise of the film, the biggest shock moment is Mabel just squishes her with her hands like you would a bug. Everyone's done it. Oh my god. Out of nowhere, and she's dead, and it's like, what? Hold on.
Yeah. And then the queen brought her son, this caterpillar, and he goes, Mum? Like, it's just like, oh my god. That might be the most darkest thing that we ever seen in Pixar history, because
Wow.
I'm like, they have the balls to do that. That's just insane. The whole cinema went dead.
Yeah,
Wow.
it was what a brilliant moment. I was really impressed that the film managed to pull the rug under us so effectively. And then it's all the other kingdoms, I guess, set armies on Mabel and the Beaver King. Is his name George, I want to say?
Oh yeah, George. Yeah, George.
Yeah, George.
the Beaver King.
George, of course. How could I forget? There's this really fun chase scene. That's a really great part of the film, how the different animals fight. There's another great scene where they have to get Mayor Jerry. They've got to kind of protect him because Mabel's accidentally started a revolution and all the bugs are going after the mayor. And so they're driving away and a bunch of seagulls come and it's like, what the seagulls gonna do? But then they start to dive bomb into the ocean and you think that's a bit weird. What's the plan here? And then they all rise back up, all holding a shark, like a massive shark. And it's just so grand. It's like something out of... I don't know what it's something out of, but it was freaky. I thought the score was really good. It's a Mark Mothersbaugh score, and I thought it was brilliant. That whole shark chase scene. It's really inventive and really fun.
Yeah, that was totally unexpected. And the shark was all friendly, like, hey, I'm gonna squish you right now, so be prepared. This is gonna be okie dokie. I love that. That was just so, like, you see a terrifying shark and it's just so bubbly and it's like, hey, I'm here. Yeah, I love it. And then the son, what was his name?
Oh God, Titus. All hail Titus!
Oh, hail Titus. He gets hopped into this animatronic version of Jerry. And it's so, again, that's so freaky as well. It's just like the way he walks trying to mimic human, which totally remind me of Men in Black. And later on, with the animatronic version, his skin just gets ripped off, and you see the animatronic's actual face, and it's just like, oh my god, are they trying to traumatize kids for the movie? Like, what's going on?
We all grow up with some absolutely horrific animated films. We've talked about many on this show, and I think that that's what you gotta do. These films are a gateway for kids to experience emotion, whether that's happiness or sadness, and indeed fear. Come on, I love it. His skin looks so leathery, and the way that he moves and the way that his facial expressions are so exaggerated in this sinister way. I thought it was amazing. And when his face comes off, it's so terrifying. Him like scuttling about. Oh yeah, man. I thought that was such an amazing aspect of the film. And the actual Jerry himself being this corporate guy who doesn't care about the environment and wants to build the bridge and doesn't at all care about what Mabel's trying to tell him. There are these great arguments where there's a great montage where the two of them are shouting at each other and they're like from across the glade, and then he's like, we're doing this all the time, and then it cuts to them at a rally at the shop, but her outside his house, and he's like, my mother lives here. It's really funny. And then at the end, after everything's happened and the forest is almost burnt down, it's a really dramatic conclusion to this whole thing, and the fake Jerry, the Titus Jerry, has been destroyed. The first thing that Mabel sees, that she walks through all the smoke and all the ash and looks at the destroyed glade, the first thing she sees is the real Jerry beckoning over a bulldozer. And they stop and they look at each other. And I thought, brilliant. Is he going to continue? Because that's what a real-life politician would do. This is why I think the film doesn't really want to make a statement. It doesn't really have a backbone.
Yes.
because it doesn't want to rock the boat, maybe. But I thought, this is great. They're going to have Jerry still making this bridge, showing that some people just don't care. Some people are just selfish. But no, then he's like, let's fix this together, blah, blah, blah.
The power of
Cowardly.
friendship, guys.
The
The power of
friendship.
friendship.
Yes. Oh, great.
Oh,
I was
jolly.
you know that moment in Toy Story 3 when they're on the conveyor belt and they get Lotso
Yes.
onto the stop button.
Yes.
And they're like, Lotso, save us. And he just goes, where's your kid now? And leaves them. That's the energy I wanted here.
Yeah.
Some people in this world are awful. Look outside. Look at the news. Politicians are the worst. Yeah, yeah. John's literally looking outside. He's in your garden.
Oh my god, there's awful things in the garden. Worms!
No, worms. If this film hadn't shied away from having Jerry just be a piece of shit, I think it would have really, really benefited from it. I would have loved that. But as it stands, the ending itself is fine. It's fairly standard. I really enjoyed that Mabel still hangs out with the animals, even though she can't hop. She can't go into her beaver body anymore and she can't understand them. That's one thing that I just absolutely loved. The scenes where the animals don't talk, like there's a bit where the scientists who invented the hopping technology that Mabel has stolen, they finally capture Mabel and they force her to de-hop. They force her to like go back into her human body. And King George thinks that she's dead because that robot body just goes limp. But we can't hear what he's saying, so we just see this beaver touching this other beaver and trying to pull it away and just going like, meh. It's the saddest thing I've ever seen. It was tragic. It was, don't laugh, John. It was tragic.
I'm sorry, no, it's just you. It's just you trying to do a Bieber impression, which, by the way, is fantastic throughout the film. They actually done great sound design, for the beavers, and you feel really sad for King George in that moment. That was such a show don't tell classic thing. It's just like, no, the beaver is so sad about the other beaver. No,
I know. I felt a wild robot moment coming on. I thought I could have cried in that.
Yeah.
It didn't quite make it. I think that because this film does remind you a lot about the wild robot with technology and environmentalism and animals and threats. But I think I would have loved it if we saw more of the animals not speaking, more of the meh. Like, you know, I think that would have been really, because it really, there's something about, it's like Wall-E. Wall-E doesn't speak. Stop laughing, John.
I'm sorry, it's the
serious.
Bieber impression again. What? Okay. Me.
That's what it does. Tell me I'm wrong. In the comments, tell me that's not what they sound like.
They do sound like that. I'm not
you.
disagreeing with you. I'm just laughing about the fact that we just went from a very serious tone and you went me.
I've seen in a lot of mainstream animated films as well, this unwillingness to just let a scene lie. Don't have the characters talk. Don't have their emotions explicitly stated to you. It's why something like Puss in Boots or the Spider-Verse films or The Wild Robot feel so rare, because so many mainstream animated films, I just watch the characters say everything that's on their mind. And I think that, this film had a lot of that. Maybe I'm just old and grumpy.
Old and grumpy while making Bieber impressions. Yeah, that's
the only thing that gives me joy.
That's the life right there. Yeah, it's so strange when you're watching a Pixar movie without the emotional heaviness. There are some emotional pieces that happen, in the movie with the beaver, with King George. He has a name. And with Grandma, I wish they could have explored a bit more with Grandma. So, she loves nature and Mabel learns so much from her and wants Mabel to be not lonely as well. The world is so vast and you're not lonely at all. I think that's great motivation for Mabel. And I wish there was something a bit more emotional. I don't know, with Grandma, like something, the wild robot or something, like something like, no, this is so sad. Depression.
Yeah, well, we never see Mabel's parents. We only ever see them silhouetted.
Oh, yeah.
And I thought that was a really good choice. That's an example of, we're not explicitly told what her relationship with them is like. We are shown that very simply they're not really that close and they never really have been. I like that a lot. And this idea of, you're never truly alone and you find that you're part of something bigger and that nature is part of everyone. I really like that. I think that is something that will speak to a lot of people, especially now when humanity is such a failure in many significant ways. And who do we turn to at this junction? Going outside, touching grass, essentially. That's kind of what this film is about.
I have to go outside?
In the garden where the worms are. That's right. You've got to do it.
I cannot face it, Tom. I cannot face it.
I love at the end when all the animals team up to try and break down the dam to get all the water onto the forest to destroy the fire. I thought that was very funny because none of the animals really make a difference. And then the shark comes and is like, okay, I'll do it.
Yeah, I'll do
The
it.
rest
I'll
of them are
just
just
chomp it
trying
up.
so hard. They're like, yes, we're working together. And it's like, you guys are
Yeah,
not doing
no.
anything.
I found it so dramatic when George was. There was like slow motion shots of George just leading everybody, and it was like, ha, ha, yeah, do that, do that. It was so dramatic. I was like,
Yeah,
okay.
man. That's my main beaver. That's King George.
Why was he king again?
I don't know. Pond rules.
Pond rules.
He
Yes,
remembers
pond rules.
everyone's names. I think this is a fun one from Pixar.
It's the most, yeah, film of all time. I think it's,
Of,
yeah,
of of all time. That's right.
yeah.
Yep. Again, reiterating, it's worth supporting because people are finally seeing it. And like, yeah, if you want more original Pixar films, go see it. What are you gonna give it out of 10?
I'm gonna give it a 7.
Okay, nice. I'm gonna give it a 6. Thank you everybody for listening. If you're listening on YouTube and you liked it, you can like and subscribe if you want to see more. And if you're listening on Spotify or Apple, you can follow and give us a 5-star review if you think we're worthy. And next week, One Piece season 2. We're getting closer to finding the one. Do you think we'll find the One Piece this season? Definitely not.
I have unfortunate views, buddy. Yes.
Brilliant. Yeah, you can send us an email, outoftimefilmpod@gmail.com. Let us know your thoughts on One Piece season 2, and I'll answer it right here on the podcast next week. That's the American one, by the way, the Netflix one, not season 2 of the anime.
Bloody hell,
I don't know.
that
It'd be years.
for people getting confused. Yes, and you can follow us on Instagram at Out of Time Film Pod to see our incredible thumbnails from Zain, on Twitter for more thoughts from Tom and me, and TikTok to see edited clips, which are all also on Instagram Reels and YouTube Shorts. And you can find links to that all in the description below. Thanks to Elle for the excellent theme and Ronan for vocals as always, and I think that's everything. Take away, Given.
Give nothing back.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.